What's up, beautiful people? Kirby Hasseman here, trying to deliver you just a little bit of extra marketing joy. Now, one of the things I know to be true is that change is constant. That's the one thing that is a constant of life is change. And I think that, especially in the entrepreneurial world, you definitely are dealing with change all the time. To be honest, that's part of what an entrepreneur does is they create change and then they try to manage change. And so as a rule, I actually kind of get excited about new things in my life. And so today on the piece, I want to talk about kind of an extra busy, extra change-filled season I've been going through and some tips that I've kind of used to manage through this. And I hope this is fun for you. I hope it adds you value. And if it does, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, both on YouTube or on the podcast if you're listening there. So let's dive in. So let's just talk about my season of change. If you follow along in any way of my life, first of all, I appreciate it. But like I said, as an entrepreneur, we go through change all the time, and it's kind of fun. But just a few things that have been going on right now. Number one, we actually bought a business here locally, here in Coshocton, Ohio. We bought a sign business. Excited about that, but that's a big undertaking, a big change. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that in a future video. My oldest recently got married. If you watch this channel, you get to see some of the highlights behind the scenes. So thanks for following along on that. My youngest daughter, within 72 hours, moved from Ohio to Colorado Springs. As I'm recording this, she's literally still driving. So that's a huge change for us as a family. We're selling our family home. And of course, then we're building a new home. And all of that's happening while we're trying to run the current businesses, Hasseman Marketing, Hasseman Properties. And so that's a lot of big change that have been going on in our life. And one of the things I've said is it's stress, but it's a good stress. But it's still stress, right? And so I have sometimes been better than others at managing that stress. But what I found is in kind of looking through this, there have been three things that I've been doing. So 3 tips I'm going to give you on trying to manage when big change happens in your life. And really today's message is really all about focus, okay? So we're going to talk about the things that you can focus on in order to deal with big change in your life. So number 1, focus on one thing at a time. One of the things that I found, and I think that my wife would say, there were times during all of this when we're trying to plan a wedding and one of the kids is moving and we're trying to build a house and we're trying to run the other businesses. It just became completely overwhelming. And when that happened for me, I decided, look, I can't manage all of these things at the same time. So I would pick one project at a time. So focus on one thing at a time, because if you try to do it all, you're going to curl up in the fetal position and not want to do anything. So just do the next right thing. I think if you're trying to do everything, you will do nothing and do nothing well. So the first tip I would give you when managing big change in your life is just try to focus on one thing at a time. Number 2, refocus. Refocus on the good that was happening in the situation. Now, for me, as I said, a lot of these things, these were all good stress. These were sort of self-inflicted good things, but they were still stress. But one of the things that I had to do was kind of refocus myself on the things that were good about the situation. Now, you might be going through a situation that it's just not good. The reality of it is there are times in our lives where there are, no matter how positive a person they are, the situation is bad. But refocusing yourself on the good things in your life kind of plays the same role. For me, in this situation, like with Jade, the reality of it is that was sort of heartbreaking for Amy and I that, Jade, we're pretty close as a family. We were excited for Skylar, so that was overwhelming, but it was so clearly good. Jade moving to Colorado Springs is, you can look at that a couple different ways. But the reality of it is I had to refocus myself and say, look, I am really excited for her to have this opportunity to grow and expand. And there were a bunch of times where I had to not only say that to myself, but I had to say that to myself out loud. So refocus, that's number 2, on the good things that you have going on and the good things that are coming out of this situation. And number 3, focus on the vision you want. right? And I think that when things become overwhelming, when there's so many balls in the air, it's really impossible to juggle them all. It's really easy and natural and okay to become very reactive. But for me, one of the things that I do that really just makes everything more interesting and more fun is I start thinking about what I want to do intentionally. What's the life I want to create? What's the outcome I want to do? And for me, taking that 10,000 foot view helps me get more excited about whatever that change is going on in my life. So it's really about, if you're going through big change, it's about focus, right? Focus on doing one thing at a time. Refocus on the good, whether, whatever good outcome that could come from this, and then focus on the vision that you are trying to create. Being intentional about your life is so incredibly important. I always say that if you are not the one who are creating the movie of your life, you end up being the star in someone else's movie. So being intentional can be so powerful in any season of your life, but certainly in a season of change. Final bonus one, create a space to relieve stress. For me, during this time, because there were so many things going on, for me, it was my morning exercise routine. Every morning I get up and I either walk or I run or just something for about 2 miles, get my blood pumping, it helps with my brain, it helps with my fitness, but honestly, it really helps with my stress. It's the place that's sort of the me time. So that's sort of the bonus. If you want to keep it in the focus theme, well, it helps me focus for the day. It helps me focus on me. So find that space, focus on that space where you can relieve a little bit of stress. I like to do it first thing in the morning to start my day off on the right foot. So in a big season of change, those are 3 and now 4 things that have helped me sort of manage through this season. It's not over yet, but we've made it through the wedding. Jade's on her way. I want to say thank you for all the well wishes. Thanks for everybody who's not only come and been a part of some of these moments in our life, but also have watched along here on YouTube. I really do appreciate that. And then, hey, if you are enjoying these videos and you're getting some value out of them, please feel free to subscribe and I will keep them coming. Hey, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. And I hope for some really, really good change in your life. See ya.